So today I migrated over my Integromat from Integromat to Make, and the whole system was really great. It was seamless. It was clear. It was just really thoughtfully designed. But there was this sidebar, and it was this right here. And I thought this would be a good example for a redesign, and not a redesign in the sense of like, hey, make it look prettier. But there's information problems with the way that this is currently designed. So this is how it started. Now, when you look at this, what this is visually communicating is that all of these things are essentially the same thing. That is to say, everything is about the same type weight. And so I mean, even the titles of source to target, where it's visually not clear how things are supposed to be grouped together. And clearly the hierarchy goes, you've got this section up here, the source section, and then target. That's the first aspect of the hierarchy, right? You've got your stuff where it's coming from and to where it's going. And then under that, you have the label, so platform, zone, company, and then you have the information itself of that category, right? So you have 1, 2, 3 levels of hierarchy, right? And so the information content should always be visually communicated. So we have 3 levels of hierarchy that should be communicated, and none of them are communicated. So let's just walk through this and see how it should be designed. So first, we want to differentiate between these different levels of the hierarchy. So first, I'm going to take these labels here. So I bolded them, I uppercased them, and then, and we're going to finish doing that in a second. Then I made the text larger because really, in terms of order of importance, we have these, the labels are not the most important thing. Really, it's what's most important is the text right here, source and then target, and then the different elements right here. So Integromat legacy to make. Those things are the next. So those should be visually number 2. So we make those bigger, and then we drop down those labels in opacity. And then we're going to take the titles themselves just to make them bigger. We got to fix this T, pop them over a little bit. And then we add some icons right here because, for the sourced target, there's like a directionality from here to there, right? And without it over here, yes, we go from top down, but sometimes top down doesn't always indicate order. It's just the next thing, sort of equal importance. Like you think on a web page, like I mean, obviously the first section is number 1 in hierarchy, but then the sections after that, like 2, 3, 4, it's like those can be pretty much equal. But here, there's a clear directionality, and top-down doesn't clearly communicate that. So adding some iconography, it's always best if you can communicate something without words to be able to do that. And we can add some clarity here. So we've got, we're coming from here to here, and it's also helpful because we've got like, we're using the language of target, so we're actually using a target, right? So before and after we look like this. This was before. There's no hierarchy. There's no differentiation. There's no directionality. And then here, it's very clear what's going on. The other interesting thing is that when you've got a proper hierarchy in your design, is that it feels much more peaceful because you can there's much less cognitive load, so you can take in the information very quickly because all of these labels, for instance, because they're set back now and they're not competing with the actual like sort of text content right there, then you can functionally ignore them. And in the back of your mind, you sort of like file that away and you'd be like, okay, I know if I want to see what kind of thing it is, I can look. But actually, a lot of these things your mind sort of infers by itself, and you actually don't need the label. It's just backup for like, hey, in case you need this. So you take something like Integromat legacy to make. It's like you can easily in your mind, you'd be like, oh, these are 2 different like websites or systems. They call them platform, whatever they call them, it doesn't matter. But if you're on the platform, you already know what that is. So when you're setting things back, moving stuff back in the hierarchy, You're actually helping people out because you're kind of saying, "Hey, you can kind of ignore this. It's here if you need it, but you don't really need it." All right. I hope that's helpful. I love doing like little redesigns like this because it can show you how like just like the nuts and bolts of sort of like dirty design and the difference that it can make. I find these very fun and valuable. So I hope it helps for you guys.